If they're going to be able to walk into this stadium, what is going to happen? Because right now, it's pretty much the same of what we saw last year. Really good offense. Question a little bit about the physicality of that defense. Is this the moment where they prove us wrong? Will James Franklin win the big one? That's the question. Will James Franklin win the big one? He is 4-20 against AP top 10 teams during his time at Penn State, and he's 3-10 when he is as well a top 10 program going against a top 10 team. Something's got to break here. Everything in terms of scheduling dynamics and everything you could want as a Penn State fan is working in your favor. You are a team that has not had to play anybody up until this point, and has it looked perfect every single time? It has not, but it hasn't had to be, because what you need is perfection on Saturday. Because facing an Oregon team that has surpassed my expectations. I was bullish on the Oregon Ducks this year, but I thought that next year was more than likely going to be their best opportunity to go win a national championship, and they're playing like a team that is ready right now. Sure, have they played anybody as well? No, but this team looks like it is a freight train with no signs of stopping. But maybe we get a full-blown stop for a whiteout night game. Let's take a moment and just talk about that alone. Because the whiteout at night is something that hasn't happened in a long time. I can't remember. Maybe is it 2018, 2019 since the last night whiteout game? It might be later than that. I tell you this right now. Obviously, Georgia and Bama are going to be playing at the same time, 7:30 Eastern. I understand that. Take the first 10 minutes. If you're a Bama fan, Georgia fan, ignore this. But if you are a neutral college football fan, take a moment and enjoy those first possessions of that whiteout game. It's going to be a great game in general. I think it's the game of the week. I'm not really in the business of arguing between that and Bama and Georgia, but just take a moment and enjoy it, because big noon kickoff is going to limit the amount of times that we see a whiteout game that's at night. It's just what's going to happen with the Big Ten, so enjoy it while we got it. But let's talk about the actual game. I did some analysis of their advanced analytics, as we've gotten enough data to at least make some sort of hypothesis of what they're going to look like. And the ones that I wanted to look at the most when we're talking about Penn State and Oregon is how do they look on normal downs versus passing downs. And passing downs more than likely are the ones that are that 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. You know the ball is going to get passed. Oregon looks like an unstoppable force on the offensive side of the ball, but there is gaps on this defense, and those gaps being the rushing defense. Mind you, in this Big Ten championship rematch just a year ago, Penn State with the same running backs was able to get over 250 yards on the ground. Now, you had Drew Allar throw for, I believe it was 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and I think he's, of course, going to be a major X factor in this game. But I fully expect Penn State, their floor is going to be at home in a night whiteout game with an incredible rushing attack. That alone works in their favor in a major, major way. A test for them is how much is their outside help that they've been talking about all throughout fall camp. Can they create explosives passing the football? Because if they're able to do that, they win this game potentially by double digits. Because I believe Oregon is due for some type of regression on the offensive side of the ball. They are more than likely going to get points on the board because Dante Moore has played way better than I thought he was going to be. But with that in mind, he has not faced a pressurized system that this stadium's going to be, paired with a defense led by Jim Knowles, who is going to be able to get in his face and be able to create pressure. Dante Moore all season, when he has been pressured this year, has been one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But can he revert to what he was at UCLA, which was one of the worst quarterbacks against pressure? And in what's going to be the most difficult matchup of the entire season, I'm curious on how that's going to go. Now, Oregon, what's the story with them? If they're going to be able to walk into this stadium, what is going to happen? Because right now, it's pretty much the same of what we saw last year. Really good offense. question a little bit about the physicality of that defense. Is this the moment where they prove us wrong? Because I still believe that you're going to be able to run the football on them. And if it gets to in those situations where Penn State doesn't have to be in those passing downs, because offensively, they're bottom 3 in passing downs, Penn State. If you are forcing Drew Aller to play behind the sticks, you are going to be in a very good position. Because like I said, they haven't played anybody, but it hasn't looked great. And Drew Aller kind of looks the same right now. What's going to change here? You could definitely win the game going 250 on the ground, and maybe Aller gets like 140 yards passing, goes 9 for 13. What I also wonder with this game is how many snaps are we going to see that does not involve Drew Aller? Direct snaps. Maybe it's Reynolds getting a direct snap of what we saw with Warren. I wonder how many times are we going to see that. Andy Kolanecki is going to be very dynamic in how he's going to call plays. Is he going to throw the kitchen sink? Because at the end of the day, James Franklin needs this. Logistically, I lean a lot towards Oregon because my one weakness with them is going to be their physicality on the rushing defense, but I do think they're going to be able to create pressure in front of Aller. And if they're able to play behind the sticks with Aller, which has been one of the worst offenses, you are setting yourselves up to win, paired with the fact that they've been one of the best teams in the country in reducing penalties. And if you're able to do that in a wideout game, you level the playing field here. But James Franklin needs this. That's just the truth. With how this program's been set up, this has been the moment for them. Everything is built up to the 2025 season for Penn State to not only get to a national championship, but to win one. And if you were to want to win one, you have to win this game. I think you have to win one of either Ohio State or this one, and this one sets up much better than what Ohio State does. Because I think it gets even more pressurized and more into James Franklin's head if they were to lose this game. Because if you lose this one, what makes you confident that you can beat Ohio State on the road? What makes you confident that can happen? So I think my logic, everything logistically tells me Penn State. Because I think the analytics support them. I think that they're at home. It's a whiteout game. Everything points to Penn State winning this football game on the logical side of my brain. My gut is telling me Oregon. And traditionally, if I'm setting it up like this, I'm telling you by the end of it, I'm going with my gut. But there's so much in the favor of Penn State in a due regression from the Oregon offensive side of the ball. In the high floor of being at home. It's a whiteout game at night. You get two tailbacks that are going to be able to get those 3rd and 4s to a first down more likely than not. I think it's going to be less likely that you're going to consistently see Drew Aller in a 3rd and 12, a 3rd and 13, trying to have to go make a play. I think it's much more likely that you see 3rd and shorts, and that's going to be the moment where you see Kretschman Allen go get those extra yards, and that's what's going to make the difference in this game. College football hates logic. We all know this. But at the end of the day, I'm going against what my gut is telling me, and I'm picking Penn State to win this football game. James Franklin needs it more than ever to go win a football game like this.